computer. And the first thing somebody asked was, in the system of equations, how do I know when to use, when do I multiply? When do I just change the opposite sign? It depends upon what variable you're trying to get rid of. So in this case, in number 9, 6 and 7, they're too hard. The least common multiple between them will be like 42. That's too much. I have to multiply one formula by 7, one by 6. But here, I see 4y and 2y. So what I do know is that the opposite of 4y is what? What's the opposite of 4y? What's the opposite of 4y?
I mean negative y.
Not negative. What's the opposite of 4y?
Negative 4y.
Negative 4y. Because I know that's what I want to do. I want the opposite. So negative 4y. Well, I got 2y here. What would I have to multiply this equation by to change this 2y to negative 4y? I would have to multiply it by negative 2. So then, again, I can't just multiply one of the terms. I have to multiply all of the terms. That way the equations are still equal. So I get minus 12x minus 4y equal 12. Because minus 2 times 6 is negative 12x. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4y. And negative 2 times negative 6 is a positive 12. And then I bring my other equation over. And then this second step, you should be able to see, okay, this is where one of my variables are canceled right there. They're opposites of each other. They cancel each other out. So I have minus 5x equal 20.
Come, Mama, come.
Divide both sides by negative 5, and I get x equal negative 4. Once you solve for one of the variables, you plug it back in to one of the equations. It does not matter which one. I'll plug into the first one. 6 times negative 4 plus 2y equal negative 6. Negative 24 plus 2y equal negative 6. Add 24 to both sides. You get 2y equal 18. Divide both sides by 2. Your y is 9. So the point that solves this system of equations is 4, 9. Now, I also got another question. Well, Mr. Tinsley, I saw the question where they had the equations graphed. Well, then it's very simple. Let me show you. Let me open up a graphing website. It's called Desmos. And one of the ways you can use Desmos is for linear equations. So you can use it to type these things in. So let me put Desmos on the screen. It's a scientific calculator also, but I use it mostly for graphing. So I'm gonna graph the calculator and I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show you something that's very important because this is one of the questions somebody asked me. They said, well, what if they gave us the equation? So watch this. So 6x plus 2y equal minus 6. That's my first equation. Let me put my second equation in. 7x plus 4y equal 8. Right? Now remember, I just solved this equation. I forgot what the answer was. Let me see. It was 4, 9. Right? But if you graph it, watch this. I'm gonna show you something. Where do the two lines cross? The two, come on. There we go. Where do the two lines cross? So, y is 9. X is negative 4. So if they give you the graphs, it's easy to solve a system of equations, just where the two lines cross. Okay? Any other questions this week? Let me close that out. But Desmos is a very, very lovely, lovely program for you to do to see how your graphs look. So if you just wanted to graph a line, y equal 2x plus 3, you could. See where it crosses the y-axis at plus 3, that's my y-intercept. So if I go up 2 and over 1, I should be on my line. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2 over 1. Now, this is another question. Let me say this. If you notice, this scale is 2, 4. So every 2 is a 1. So this is 3. This is 5. This is 6. So if my slope is 2, which is 2 over 1, that means I need to go up 2. So if I'm at 3, I need to go up 2. 1, 2, 5 over 1. 1, 2. So I'm on my line. If I go up 2, so again, 1, 2 over 1. 1. So even though I'm going over 2, the scale, this is 1, this is 2. So you also have to look at the scale. So I saw someone have a problem. They sent me a problem. The scale, your scale is not always going to be the same. You got to take that into account when you're finding your slope. All right. Any other questions? Any other questions? Okay.
Mr. Tinsley,
Yes.
is there, where can we go on the Schoology site to practice the system of equations? Is there,
Okay. Let me show you. Let me log in.
how, is there going to be a lot of these questions?
1 or 2 maybe.
Okay,
1 or 2. So you're gonna go in, you go in your courses, you go into you should only have 1 course, my course. You're gonna come down to practice and additional problems, or you can go to math lessons. It doesn't matter. Let's go to practice and additional problems and see if we can find system of equations. So we're gonna scroll down and see if we have any system of equations. And we don't. I don't have any in my practice section. That's okay.
yeah,
That's
see, I
okay.
didn't see them.
That's okay. So we'll go back to the math lessons.
Okay,
Very interesting. I will be making some up. You don't worry. So here's system of equations
okay, in the math lesson?
in the math lessons, and we got online practice Khan Academy or online practice.
Okay,
Okay, so let's just I don't know what they're gonna give us. So let's do online practice Khan Academy. Let's do Khan Academy. So we got elimination.
oh, they got, oh, okay,
So let's do elimination. This graphing, elimination.
they got just what you showed us, the graphing and the
Mhm.
elimination.
Yep. So let's go ahead and click on that and see what it comes up with. First of all, Schoology has been changing tremendously. So sometimes the site is up, sometimes it's down. It's just a lot of work. It didn't open up. Let's go. Let's see what they give us. System of equations. Again, it's only going to be 1 or 2. Okay. I wish I could remove this. There we go. So let's look at a practice problem. Okay. So in this case, they give us 2 equations. What do you notice right away? Tell me what you notice right away. When you look at these 2 equations, minus 9x plus 4y equals 6, and 9x plus 5y equals negative 33. What do you notice right away? Let me make it a little bit bigger right there. There we go. What do you notice right away?
The
I
nines
know
are
that they
opposite.
asking you for X and Y,
Well, that's true. They're asking you for X and
and
Y.
I noticed that they have you can cancel the -9 and the positive 9. You can cancel that.
So what you should see right away at that are the 9s are already opposite. They already canceling each other out.
Yeah.
So all you got to do is combine these equations. So they cancel each other's out. 5y plus 4y is 9y, and 6 and negative 33 is negative 27. In order to solve for y, what do I have to do?
You have to divide
Divide by what?
9.
9. So we divide both sides by 9. The 9s cancel. And what's negative 27 divided by 9?
-3.
Negative 3. So now you know what y is. Once you obtain one of the variables, what's the next step? I got to do what?
You gotta just pick one.
Plug it
from the-
in.
Got to plug it into one of the equations. Doesn't matter
Yeah.
which one. I'm going to plug it into the second equation. So 9x plus 5 times minus 3 equal negative 33. 9x minus 15 equal negative 33. I'm going to add 15 to both sides. I get 9x is equal to 18, negative 18. Divide by 9, divide both sides by 9. I get x equal negative 2. So x is negative 2, y is negative 3. Let's see if we're right. X is negative 2 and y is negative 3. No, x is negative 2. Y is negative 3. Let's check it. And we're right. So remember, there's two places you can practice. It's always practice under the math lessons. So either Khan Academy or CK12. So we went to the next question. Let's try one more. Now see that they already canceling each other out. So that's 5x equal 25. So x is 5. X is 5, 15 minus 15, 0. I think that's what I got real quick. I did it in my head real fast, but let's try one. See, they all canceling out. 7y, 7, y is 1, y is 1, y is 1, 2, minus 2, 12, x is 3. Okay, let me try to find one where they're not canceling each other out. Let me see. Let's just try this. Let me see. And a lot was, for some reason, the links are not working. I am upset right now. Let me see if I can do this. Elimination strategies. Elimination. Let's try this one right here. Let's see what this is. That's a challenge. Let's see what that is. Okay, here's one right here. Okay. So now, when you look at these system of equations, what is the variable that you want to get rid of? Oh, should we try to get rid of y, or should we try to get rid of x? Should we get rid of y, or should we try to get rid of x?
It doesn't matter, does it?
It doesn't matter, but are 3 and 11, can I easily multiply something by 3 to get the opposite of negative 11?
No.
Is there no? So we don't want to mess with the x's here, because there's no number that we can multiply by 3 to get positive 11. Later on, what you'll learn is you can multiply one equation by 3 and the other equation by 11. But I want to keep this as simple as possible. So what I want you to be able to do is do this. When you come in, you look at the 11 and the 3. Okay, if there's a common multiple that you can quickly see, then you can choose that variable. There is no common multiple for 3 and 11. You have to be 33. That's too much. But if you look at the 10, the 2 and the 10, you realize the opposite of positive 10 is what? What's the opposite of positive 10?
Negative 10.
Negative 10. So what do I have to multiply this second equation by for that term to be negative 10?
Is it 5?
5. So then we're going to bring this one over, 10y minus 11x equal negative 4. And then we got to distribute that 5. 5 times negative 2y is a negative 10y. 5 times 3x is what?
15,
15x. And what is 5 times 4?
20.
20. So again, this is our whole purpose of
Okay.
solving system of equations. We want to get rid of one of the variables. The y's are gone.
Here's mama.
15x minus 11x is what? Was 15x minus 11x?
Or
For what?
X.
4x.
X.
And what's 20 minus 4?
16.
16. In order to get x by itself, we need to do what?
Divide.
Divided
by
by 4.
Divide
Correct.
by 4.
Divide both sides by 4, we get x is equal to 4. So we know what x is. So now I'm gonna plug it into the second equation. I could plug it into the first equation. It does not matter. Matter of fact, I'll plug it into the first equation. So 10y minus 11, x we said was 4, equal negative 4. 10y minus 44 equal minus 4. I'm gonna add 44 to both sides. We get 10y. The 44 is canceled. I bring down my equal. 44 minus 4 is 40. Divide both sides by 10. Y is equal to 4. So we go into our Khan Academy. We said x was 4, y was 4. Let's check it. There you go. So this is another resource that you can use. You can use Khan Academy. For some reason, I got to check all these links. I'm going to do that probably starting this weekend. I'm going to start checking the links. A lot of these websites have changed their location of the materials that I use. So I'm going to go through and start checking every link, because some of these are not working. But again, you have places where you can practice. So one of the things you can do is here is once you're in Khan Academy, anything like this is practice problems. Anything like this right here, that's practice. That's practice. That's practice, combining equations. So all these are practice. All these will help you with a system of equations. If you don't know how to do something, these are videos. So the ones with the little play button next to them are videos that you can watch if you don't know how to do something. Okay. All right. So let me close that up. So that's where you would go for practice for system of equations. Now I can tell you this also. Watch this. I'm gonna show you something. Let me show you something. I am, as we speak, creating another practice test. So practice math test number 6. It'll be ready probably in about a couple of days. I think I got 35 questions ready. Okay, so that'll be another practice test. But again, look at all the practice. I got a pre-algebra pre-test, quadratic equation, algebraic equations, algebraic expressions, circles, Pythagorean theorems. All these you can run down and do them all if you needed to, because it's all information you're gonna need for your exam. But to be most efficient, use your practice test to tell you what you should work on the most. All right. Any other questions?
Can we do a little bit on percentage, please?
Percent. Okay. So we're gonna use Schoology. Let's do some percents. Okay. Let's do some percent. So I'm gonna go to the lessons. And the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my pretest on percents. Let's see if I know how to do percents. So I added a pretest in front of each section. So let's go to the pretest and let's all do this pretest together. Let's preview it. Start new attempt. Okay, so 40 is 50% of what number? And I want you to send me your answer in the chat. 40 is 50% of what number?
Mm,
40 is 50% of what number? And send me your answer in the chat. 40 is 50% of what number? Now you should be able to finish this problem in about a minute. If you're taking more than a minute, that means percents may be a problem you may want to go over. Okay, so I see it's 12 people in here and nobody gave me an answer yet. 40 is 50% of what number? Okay, I'm starting to get some responses back now. Darlene, that is incorrect. Kelly, that is correct. Denise, that is correct. You just sent your answer to everybody. So since you sent the answer to everybody, let's make sure we know how to do it. It's
Sorry.
3 formulas. That's okay. It's 3 formulas for percents you should know. The first one, if you're trying to find a percent, is part over whole. You got to know this formula. Percent equal part over whole. Okay, based on this, you can get any other, you can solve for any other variable here. You can solve for whole. So how would I solve for whole? Okay, so first of all, I would have to multiply. I want to get whole by itself. So I need to multiply both sides by whole. Okay, the same thing you do in algebra, you can do with any equation. So the 2 wholes cancels on the right, you get whole times percent equal part. That's the second equation you should know. Now, the third equation, if I want to solve for whole times percent, what's the opposite of multiplication? I need to divide by percent. So that if I do the one side, I do the other. So whole times percent divided by percent, you're going to get whole equal part divided by percent. Again, I got a whole section in the ebook. So now you just grab your calculator. I'm gonna press ND. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Clear. So and 40 is 50% of what number? Is 40 your whole, your part, or your percent?
The 40%, it seems like the
No,
part.
there is no 40%. The 40
The 40
is the
seems
part.
like the part.
Right. So because you already know it's saying find the whole. So you don't know whole. You know the percent because it says 50%. So all you're going to do is go in your calculator, 40 divided by 50%. Boom, 80. So those are the 3 formulas you should know for percent. Actually, it's 4, but these are the first 3. Percent equal part over whole, part equal whole times percent, and whole is equal part divided by percent. Those are the 3. There is one more, increase or decrease, percent increase or percent decrease. That's the last one you should know for percents. But those are the 4 equations you should know. All right, so let's go to the next question. Let's go to the next question. Somebody just let in. Let's look at this. Okay, let me make this a little bit bigger. Again, you should know the decimal percent equivalence. So let's look at this. You should be able to do this in seconds. 50% is, what's the decimal equivalent on the right side? A through J. What's the decimal equivalent of 50%? You can just holler it out.
It's F.
F. What's the decimal equivalent of 33%?
0.33.
E, right?
Yeah.
What's the decimal equivalent of 20%?
20%. Point. It's I.
That is incorrect.
Incorrect.
So remember, so this is what I want you to do. And this is why this is important. It may seem like, oh, Mr. Tinsley, all this work. No, these are the small things with mental math you need to be able to do. To change any percent to a decimal, all you do is move the decimal 2 places to the left. 1, 2, 0.2 or 0.20. So the actual answer is not I, it's B. And you should be able to do all of these unless you should be able to look at these. Okay, that's 0.02, that's 1.65, that's 0.009, that's 0.35, that's 0.0021, that's 1, that's 2.12. You should be able to change any percent to a decimal by looking at it, because you should know to change any percent to a decimal, I got to move my decimal 2 places to the left. Okay, this is where that mental math and that confidence comes in. So let me go to question 3. We'll skip that for right now. Let's go to some of the questions. Find part of each number. What's 15% of 70? How would I do that? How would I do that? What's 15% of 70? How would I do that?
15 over 15 divided by 70.
Nope.
No.
Nope. So remember, percent equal part over whole. Are we trying to find the percent? No, they gave it to us. So this is not the equation we want to use. The 70 is the whole. This is the percent. So we're looking for the formula part, which is whole times percent. This is how you got to be able to identify what's given. 15% is the percent of 70. 70 is my whole. So that means they want to solve for the part. Part equal whole times percent. So all you do is go to your calculator, 70 times 15%. $10.5. Okay, let's try to find some more word problems on the percent. Let's see if we got some word problems. So this is not really to get you ready for the GED. These are the basics of percents to see if you know how to identify a percent problem and will you be able to do it. These are the concepts you need to know right here. Let's look at number 22. That's a nice word problem. Jamie earns $350 a week. 20% is taken out for deductions. What is her net pay? How would you do this problem? Can anybody tell me? You definitely won't have a percent problem on your exam. I can see your mouth moving, Darlene, but I don't hear anything coming out.
So the part is 350.
So the part is 350?
No, the
The
part,
whole.
the whole 350 is the whole.
350.
350 is your whole. Of course, we know this is the percent. So in order to find the part, it's whole times percent.
Percent.
So we're going to go in our calculator and multiply what?
The part.
350 times the percent.
Which is what?
20% times
20%. So now, with this calculator, you can just put 20%. You don't even have to change percent to a decimal. You can just multiply by 20%. So 20% is $70. So my part is $70. But what do they want to know?
They want to know her net pay.
So how would you find the net pay? And this is a common mistake a lot of people make. They think 70 is the answer. 70 is the amount that was deducted from the check. but what's the net pay? How do we calculate that?
I would say you add the 70 with the 350.
So you telling me when a deduction is added to your check?
No, a minus.
Okay, so again, that's common sense. A deduction means it's taken out of your check. That's subtraction. So 350 minus
Minus
70 is
280.
280. Now, this is how I explain it in my book. I explain it a little bit differently. Watch this. I'm going to show you a one-step problem. If 20% is taken out of my check, what percent do I still have left?
80.
80%. Watch this. I'm going to show you a nice, quick one-step problem. 350 times 80%. I'm done.
That's quicker.
But you have to realize what happens. If it's taxes, that's added on. Here, deduction, that's subtracted from.
Right.
So you gotta be able to identify. Like, for example, one of the problems they love giving is if you go out to dinner and you got 8% sales tax and a 20% gratuity. You got to know taxes and gratuity is added on to the bill. So for example, say I went out to, let me clear the screen. I just went to Chili's, right? And I got this, they got all these deals. I just got this chicken fajita deal anyway. But say I go to Chili's, right? I love Chili's. That's one of my favorite restaurants. So I go to Chili's. And my bill is, because you can eat nice and cheap. You can eat for like $50. So say my bill was $50, right? $50. And it's an 8% sales tax for the state of Pennsylvania. So my bill is 100%, sales tax is 88%. So that means it's 108%. So if I need to know my bill after taxes, I just times it by 108%. So after taxes, it's $54. Well, I want to add gratuity to that. That's 20%. So then I'm going to multiply that. 100% of my total is $54. 20% more is 20%. That's 120%. That's 1.2. Watch this. Now multiply that by 1.2. So if my bill originally was $50 and add 8% sales tax and a 20% tip, it'll be $64.80. That way it's 2 steps. Now, again, you can put percent right in, or you can just multiply by 1.08. 50 times 1.08, oops, 1.08. Still got the same thing, and multiply by 1.2. Remember, decimal percent equivalents, they're the same thing. You can't get intimidated by percent problems. So practice here. Whole, part, percent. It's only 4 things they're going to ask you for percent. They might ask you percent change. Okay, so be ready. They're going to give you 1 or 2% problems. They're not going to give you a whole lot. They'll give you 1 or 2. Any more word problems here? Not really, not really. But this is a pre-test to see if you really know percents. Make sure you take it. Okay, anything else?
Maybe could we go over ratio?
Ratio and proportions. Again, I love ratio and proportions. I'm telling you, you're going to have 4 to 5 questions on your ratio and proportions, because they're going to give you a scale problem. They're going to give you a unit rate problem. So let's look at the pretest again. Let's see what we know already. So this is the purpose of the pretest, to see what you know already. So take the pretest first. If you score 80 or above on the pretest, you can move on from that section. Let's just do a couple. Ratio and proportions. That's pretty easy, so let's not do that. Let's do, there we go. Number 9. Can everybody see number 9?
Yes.
The ratio of compact cars to larger model cars sold during the month was 9 to 4. If 72 compact cars were sold during that period, how many larger cars were sold? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give everybody a minute or two. I want you to solve this problem. I want you to send me your answer in the chat. The ratio of compact cars to larger model cars sold during the month is 9 to 4. If 72 compact cars were sold during that period, how many larger cars were sold? They love ratio and proportions on the exam. I'm telling you, you're gonna have at least 4 problems with ratio and proportion. They're gonna give you scale.
I'm already
they're gonna give you
lost.
unit rate. Already lost.
Yes,
Already
already
lost. All right, so I'm gonna set the clock for at least a minute. Let me get some people some time to try to figure it out. I'm gonna set this timer for a minute, 2 minutes. And then we'll go over it after we finish. Send me your answer in the chat. So now remember, this is what you gotta remember. On my Schoology site, a lot of my stuff are fill-ins. On the GED, you're gonna have multiple choice. So a lot of times multiple choice tests are a little bit easier because you know the answer is there. Fill-ins are much harder. So if you're able to do these pre-tests that I have all these fill-ins in, that means you're prepared. So I got an answer from Kelly. That is correct. Kelly, that is correct. What would be this answer? Let's see if anybody else can get the correct answer. The ratio of compact cars to larger model cars sold during the month was 9 to 4. If 72 compact cars were sold during that period, how many larger cars were sold? Got about a minute left. Only one person answered. Let's see if we can get this. I know a lot of people are calling in from work or different situations, so you may not be able to answer. But if you can, I would like you to see if you can answer this question. And then if you can't answer this question, then I need you going on Schoology and practicing. Because remember, you take the pre-test, you score under 80, you can go through the lesson. The lesson has videos and text that you can learn how to do ratio and proportions. Okay, so only one person answered, and that's about 2 minutes. Okay, so the question is, how do you know where to start? Can somebody tell me what's the given? What do we know?
Well, I see they give you 9, they give you 4 and 72.
Okay, so now that's good. You just identified numbers. That's not what I mean by just giving them. What do those numbers stand for? What do they mean?
Well, the ratio of compact cars to larger model cars sold during a month was 9 to 4. So that's 9 compact cars. And the larger model cars were 4.
Exactly. So that's what's so important. This is the #1 step, identifying the ratio that they give you already. So here, this word "to" tells you how to set it up. So compact to larger model cars. So when they give you that number, the first number corresponds to compact, the second number corresponds to model. And how do we know? Because we're using that word "to." So the ratio is 9 compact for every 4 larger cars. That's the ratio that we know. So a ratio, a fraction is just another way to set up a ratio. Remember, you can use the word "to," you could use colons, or you could use a fraction to designate a ratio. So 9 to 4. Now, what is a proportion? A proportion is 2 ratios set equal to each other. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write an equal sign. What else do I know? What else is given in this question that I know?
72 compact cars.
So 72 compact cars. Where's that 72 going to go?
Oh, no. 72 is 72 is going to go on top.
On top. Why? Tell me why. Tell me why. Because we have an equal sign. So you want the same thing on one side. If you got compact on the top on the left side, you got to have compact on the top on the right side. Otherwise, they wouldn't be equal. Everybody understand that? So this is why I wrote the text compact and larger. If you're doing a computation, you're not going to write those words. You're just going to write 9/4 is equal to 72/x. But I wrote the words compact and larger so you can see how to set it up on the right side of the equation. You must have like terms on both sides. So if I got compact on the top on the left, I need compact on the top on the right. So Mr. Tinsley, because I heard this question, I heard somebody thinking about it. Well, what if I set mine up differently? What if I said 4 large cars for every 9 compact? It doesn't matter how you set up the ratio, as long as you stay consistent on both sides. So 4/9 is equal to, now again, 72 is compact. That means it's going to go on the bottom if I set it up this way. But guess what? Watch what happens when I cross multiply. Watch what happens. 9x equal 288. In order to solve for x, I divide both sides by 9. I get x equal 32. Same thing here. Watch this. I'm going to change my color. It doesn't matter how you set it up, as long as you stay consistent on both sides of the equal. 9x equal 288. Did we get the same exact equation?
Yes.
Yes. Now, this is not how I would tell you to do it. Okay, watch this. I'm going to show you something. There are 3 ways I want you to be familiar with solving a proportion. The first one is equivalent fractions. The second way is unit rate. The third way is cross multiply. You can always solve by cross multiplying. But watch this. Watch how much easier I'm going to make this problem now. I'm going to set it up before, so 9/4. That's the ratio that we already know. Remember, compact to larger. So compact is 72. That's going to go on the top. Watch how much easier this problem becomes. Watch this. If I use equivalent fractions. For the GED, most of the proportion problems you can solve with equivalent fractions. Watch this. What do I have to multiply 9 by to get 72?
8.
8. Whatever I do to the top, I do to the bottom. What's 4 times 8?
32.
Stop playing. I'm already done. I showed you the first one, the most difficult way, by cross multiplying first. Most of the time on the GED, you can solve a proportion problem by equivalent fractions. By equivalent fractions. So the first way I want you to try is equivalent fractions first, then unit rate, then cross multiplication. So let me share an example of unit rate. I'm going to change this problem up a little bit. Instead of 14, I'm going to change this to 13. Okay, so if I wanted to set this up equivalent fractions, I'll say 2 cans for $1.05 is equal to 2 cans, 13 cans, 13. So there's no number I can multiply 2 by to get 13. So I can't do equivalent fractions here. Now, the original problem was 14. So if I solve the original problem, watch how easy this is. What do I have to multiply 2 by to get 14?
7.
7. Whatever I do to the top, I do to the bottom. 7 times $1.05 is $7.35. I'm done. 15 seconds. But the problem comes in when they change the number to 13 cans. Okay, so this is 13. Oh my goodness, how do I do that? This is what I would do.
Cross multiply.
I paid $1. You could cross multiply. I'm gonna do that last. I paid $1.05. Price per can. Price per can. So my price is my numerator divided by my number of cans. That's my denominator. So my price is my numerator, $1.05, divided by how many cans I got? 2. Watch this when I throw this in the calculator. So this is, I'm finding the price per can. How much does 1 can cost? Watch this, ND, 105 divided by 2. So each can costs 52.5 cents, right? Well, I need 13 cans. So all I gotta do now, if I know how much 1 can costs, I can figure out 13, I can figure out 14, I can figure out 187. It doesn't matter. Once I know the price of 1 can, all I gotta do is multiply. So the price of 13 cans, and again, we're talking about cents, so we had to round off, is $6.83. Now, let's see if we get the same answer for 14. Let's see if we get the same answer for 14. Find my unit rate, times that by 14. We got 735 before. We got 735 now. So now, Mr. Tinsley, they aren't always this easy when we taking the test. Let me see if I can find, hold on for 1 second. Let me pause the recording and let me see if I can find a nice, this is a question that was sent to me, okay? Student didn't know how to do it, okay? So let's grab the information first. So my first suggestion to you is read the question first, okay? An artist wants to paint a canvas based on a photograph that measures 4 inches by 5 inches. Based on canvas prices listed in the table, the artist could use canvases at which prices to make a painting that is proportional to the photograph. That is the key word right there. So when I talk about givens, the original was 4 by 5, and you want to know all the other canvases that are proportional. And what do they want to know? They want to know those canvas prices. So I know the ratio that's given, 4 to 5. Does everybody understand where I got that 4 to 5 from? Okay.
Yes.
So 4 to 5. So let's look at the other canvas prices and sizes. These are the canvas sizes. So I gotta look at each one. 4 by 5, 8 by 10. So remember, if I can multiply the top and bottom by the same number, they are proportional. So what do I need to multiply 4 by to get 8?
2.
2. Whatever I do to the top, I do to the bottom. Is 5 times 2, 10?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's proportional. So I go to the next one. 4 over 5. Is that equal to 16 over 20? I don't know for sure. Even though I'm writing equal, I don't know for sure until I check it. What do I have to multiply 4 by to get 16?
4.
4. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. Is 5 times 4, 20?
Yes.
So that's proportional. Let's go to the third one. Again, this is an involved problem. You have to check each canvas price. You can't just guess. You got to go to each one. 4 by 5 is equal to 18 by 24. Is there a number that I can multiply 4 by to get 18?
No.
No. Actually, it is. It's 2.5, but I mean, we're not.
Well, yeah, but not the whole
I
number.
mean, 4.5, but we're not going to get into that. 4.5. We're not. What you actually could do is cross multiply the numbers also. So what you could also do is, so actually, I'm going by whole numbers, but you should cross multiply. So what do I mean by cross multiply? 4 times 10, 40. 8 times 5, 40. They're proportional. 5 times 16, 80. 4 times 20, 80. They're proportional. 5 times 18 is 90. 4 times 24 is 96. These are not proportional. Because there's no number that you can multiply by 4 to get 18. Now, the last one we have to do, 24 by 36. I'm going to move this over here. 4 by 5 is equal to 24 by 36. This is where most people make their mistake. What do I have to multiply 4 by to get 24?
6.
6. Whatever I do to the top, I do to the bottom. What's 6 times 5?
30.
30.
Well, that says 36. So that means 24 by 36 is not proportional. 18 by 24 is not proportional. But that's not the step they wanted. They want to know the prices of the canvases that are proportional. So to go get the prices is 643 and 1165. So these two you must check. Most people get this problem wrong. Again, the key word in this question was proportional. Okay, equivalent fractions, unit rate, or cross multiplication. Those are the 3 ways you should know how to solve a proportion. This problem looks difficult. They gave you a paragraph, they gave you a table, they gave you this big long question. This is not hard at all. You just got to know how to set up the proportion. 2 ratios set equal to each other. So anytime they're comparing one thing to another, that's the ratio they give you. 4 to 5 is the ratio that's given. Proportion is 2 ratios set equal to each other. Equal. 8 to 10, 16 to 20, 18 by 24, 24 by 36. And you'll be able to get that answer. Again, not a difficult problem. Now, another place they use proportions is scale problems. They love scale problems. They love scale problems. They love scale problems. You better be ready for a unit rate problem like this and scale problems. You have to be ready. This is another proportion. So let's look at this question. A scale drawing of a house uses a scale of 0.5 inches equal 2 feet. What is the length in inches of a line on the scale drawing that represents an actual length of 5 feet? What is the ratio that they're giving us? What is the ratio that they're giving us?
0.5 inches to
Right, so 0.5 is the 2. So I'm going to put inches, I'm going to put feet. I'm going to put my equal sign. Where's my 5 feet going to go? Is that going to go to the top or the bottom?
Bottom.
Bottom, because feet to feet. This is the unknown. So remember, equivalent
what
fractions,
goes on the
unit rate, or cross multiplication. Well, equivalent fractions, because we can't multiply a number times 2 to get 5. So that's not going to work. Equivalent unit rate could work. I'll show you that in a minute. And then cross multiplication. Let's try cross multiplication. So always do the variable first. 2x equal, what's 0.5 times 5? Can anybody tell me? What's 5 times 0.5? What's half of 5?
250.
2.5 or 2.50. Remember that decimal, 2.5. Now, in order to solve for x, we need to divide by what?
The 2x.
We need to divide by what?
Divide by 2.
Divide by 2. The 2's cancel. What's 250 divided by 2?
1.25.
Now, that's how you do this algebraically. What I also need you to understand is sometimes algebraically confuses you. And you go into a tivy and you give yourself a headache. Watch this. If I know a 1/2 inch is equal to 2 feet, what's 1 inch?
1 inch is 1.
Listen to what I'm asking you. If a 1/2 inch is 2 feet, how much is 1 inch?
If I have, repeat the question again.
If a 1/2 inch is equal to 2 feet, how much is 1 inch equal to?
I would say 1.
Okay, so if a 1/2 inch is 2 feet, how can an inch, which is larger, be less than 2 feet?
3
okay,
feet.
okay.
Okay, so again, let's use common sense. Watch this. I'm gonna show you something. Let's do what's common sense. A 1/2 inch is 2 feet. How many 1/2 inches do we need to make a whole inch? How many halves do we need to make a whole?
2.
2.
2. So I need another 1/2 inch. That's another 2 feet. So
Okay.
1 inch is 4 feet.
4
Right?
feet.
So I need to find what 5 feet is. Well, if 1 inch is 4 feet, what's 2 inches?
6 feet.
Nope. If
1
1 inch is 4 feet, 2 inches is what?
8.
8. Right. So now look at the multiple choice. If 2 inches is 8 feet, can my answer be 20? If 2 inches is 8 feet, can my answer be 20?
No,
No. Can my answer be 10?
no,
Can my answer be 2.5?
no.
No. Why? Because anything larger than 2 inches is larger than 8 feet. So all of these numbers are greater than 2. So it only leads, and that's without doing any algebra, just by using common sense. As if a 1/2 inch is 2 feet, that makes 1 inch. Again, unit rate. Unit rate. How much is 1 inch? 4 feet. 2 inches is 8 feet. If I'm trying to find 5 feet, it can't be 2.5, can't be 10, can't be 20. That's without doing anything algebraically. You still can get your answer 1.25. So make sure ratio and proportions. I'm telling you, you're gonna have a bunch of them, and they're gonna give it to you in different ways. Okay, you're probably gonna have ratio and proportions and scale and unit rate. I'd probably say 3 to 4 ratio and proportions. System of equations, you're gonna have about 1 or 2 system of equations. Okay, so again, spend your time on the areas that you know you're gonna have a lot of the work. So for example, if I'm studying right now and my weak area was linear equations, slope, and all those type of things, I will be focusing there. Why? Because you're gonna have anywhere from 5 to 10 questions on linear equations. System of equations, you may have 1 or 2. Quadratic equations, you may have 1 or 2. Okay, so identify ratio and proportions, you're gonna have between 2 and 4. Okay, so make sure you study in in the areas that you need the most. And you can do that by taking a practice test, either on Schoology or on the GED Ready. And that will, or your last test that you've taken, use that as your prescription to what you're going to study. This is the first week on Schoology. I think I graded less than 10 assignments. So that means people were taking it easy this week. Don't take it easy on me. I need them assignments tomorrow. So make sure you, the only way, listen, one thing that's happening, that's gonna happen, let me stop the recording for real quick, right?